Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody who's new. Welcome. Once again, I have Commander Cassius with me. And today we're going to talk about some past life memories that have really helped him grow and helped him really just get into who he is as Commander Cassius. And so, how are you doing, Cassius?
I'm doing so good. Thank you for having me, and you look beautiful as always.
Thank you so much. So today I want to talk about this really amazing story. And the first thing I want to talk about is how did you find this information out? Was it through like your own regression? Did you go to somebody to do the regression? Like, how did this information start showing in your life?
So, going back to the first very moment I got introduced to this was about 2 years, 2 or 3 years ago when I first started TikTok, and I met some people. And the one guy did a reading for me, went to the Akashic Records, and he only said a few things, but he was like, you're for sure Lyran. And when he said that, I almost started crying, and I didn't even know what Lyra was. But I was just like, that feels right. And then he told me that I was a royal from Lyra. And I was like, okay, that I guess I'll take that. That explains why I always felt royal from very young. And then he told me that I'm gonna get to go back to Andromeda someday. And it took me 3 years to figure out what that meant. Cause I'm like, go back, that feels right, but interesting. And then that's when it started leading to me getting memories through visions. And really, it was like the Galactic Federation gave it to me. They're like, you're ready for this. So they like allowed me access to my own data bank of information, like my higher self, I guess. Still not fully aware how it works, but I'm pretty sure it's like they gave me more of my higher self, which is what I call it so far. And from there, the memories they gave me explained why I was some ways and gave me then access to those powers. So, like a little example, if they gave me memories of fighting in the wars, then it made me realize how much I'm a warrior. And then I realized because the memories isn't like you see it, it's like you remember literally what you experience. It's like remembering anything in this lifetime. So then you go through all the emotion and then you relive it basically, and then you gain those traits or knowledge that you learned from those times. So as I started getting those slowly, and they came very much through visions and feeling and emotion, that's when it really started to kick off for me.
Okay. All right. And so how tell us about your life as it started unfolding in Lyra and what
Okay.
happened.
So starting at the beginning, Lyra was very beautiful. Again, it was the civilization of civilizations, very much 5D, and they're very childlike, very loving, and they didn't know any warfare or nothing like that. There was no such thing as conflict anymore. And at that moment, I remember I was I was always the older sister, so I was next in line for a queen. And the queen that was in place, which was my mother, she was aware that there was something going on in the Draco star system and that something these draconian beings were coming to visit. And so we were already being prepared. Okay, we're gonna meet some new beings that are different from us. Long story short, I'll try and cut it as short as possible. They came, and instantly when they landed, we knew, like, it was like these are not people like us. But we didn't know darkness, deception, nothing like that. So we were just like, okay, these people are very low vibrational and aggressive, but we could help them. My dad said we could help them. And time went by. I kept telling my father, which was king, we can't trust them. Look at them. Look what they're doing. And they're very aggressive. And he said, I know, but we could help them. Little did we know, actually, my father was being deceived too through like inner workings. So half of Lyra trusted them and half of Lyra didn't. And I was part of Lyra that didn't. When they attacked, um, I remember escaping on a ship with my family. My father and my mother were killed. And we escaped on the ship, and we were looking at our planet being destroyed, and we of course had to spread out in the galaxy. So I said, you guys are going to go to this constellation. That's why my soul siblings in this lifetime that I know now all have different heritages a little bit. Some are Syrian, some are Orion, but they all go back to Lyra. So we spread out, and me and one other my siblings went to Andromeda, which is where my mother had connections to. And so she said, if anything bad were to happen, go to Andromeda. So I told everybody never again, and we're gonna fight because I said it's my duty as, next in line for Queen to protect my people. So I felt like it was my fault a little bit. So I remember the anger and the sadness, and I went to Andromeda, and they trained me how to fight. I went there to learn how to fight for a long time, and that's why I have such high respect for Andromeda. It was so beautiful. You could go there to learn anything. I'm actually gonna make a video about that today, and it was so beautiful. And then I didn't want to leave, but it was just like, if you guys watch The Edge of Tomorrow, fighting in the Lyran Wars looked like that. It was like very, very, very chaotic. And when I first started fighting,
Mhm.
we had to learn the warfare. And that's what I learned in Andromeda. They were like, you can't just fight them physically. You have to learn the mental, emotional warfare, all of that, which we do here on this planet too. And when I went, there was a lot of fighting, of course. And um, then I remember there was a point when Lyra was destroyed. Um, I became uh I was under this, like, they had some sort of sex slavery with Lyrans, and me and one other of my siblings are only the two that have memories of this. And these were the hardest memories to process. And when I think about them, it's still like, oh my God. And I spent a week not wanting to talk to nobody because they literally would take the Lyran, especially if you were a Lyran royal, you were prized, and they would keep you as a sex slave. And I was one for probably like, I don't even know, it was just a really long time, which explains some of the sex trauma I have in this lifetime, which I never understood, and why I have certain aspects in that I never understood. And then going to the next part or chapter of my life, which was when I was freed by these bounty hunters in the galaxy. And they were from everywhere, and they came in and they were like, "You're the princess from Lyra." And I was like, "Yeah." And all my lifetimes, I'm always pointed out, "You're the princess of Lyra," which is why in all these lifetimes I was like, "Oh, I don't, whatever, whatever," right? But they were like, "Okay, we're here to help you." And they saved me. And that's where the lives came, where I was a bounty hunter. And my whole mission was just to hunt down the Draconians, like how they were hunting down us. And they went to Orion to take over Orion, like they did in Lyra. So I wanted to stop them. And that led to the whole lifetimes as a bounty hunter, which was probably like I would say like my middle ages, when I was just stepping more into my power of
Mhm.
who I was.
Yeah, interesting. I found out that I was a sex slave too in Orion.
Did you? I was curious when you were gonna get those memories. When did you get that?
I didn't. It was a friend of mine who got back to me and she's like, I just found out why our connection is. And she explained it to me, and like you, it explains so much of things that have been going on, for me, that I could never explain or understand. I always thought I was sexually abused, but there was never that I could never remember like, did something happen? Like, when
Right.
is this presenting itself?
Mhm.
And now it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, um, it's super interesting that that's something that you also went through as well, and
But
how it
when
affects this life.
yeah, when I got it, first I would always ask, why are you guys giving me these memories? But after healing from them or attaining them fully, then I realized they're really granting me a power that it's like I was still learning about who I really was. And so they were giving me, first at the beginning, it was like the light memories you guys see on my YouTube channel. It was like, oh, remember when I was a princess bounty hunter and I was hunting around the galaxy as this Lyran princess that everybody heard around the galaxy. Those were the first memories they gave me to excite me. because I was like, oh my God, I was a bounty hunter, cool. I was a princess, cool. And then they started giving me the harder ones of the sex slavery, or why I became a dragon and how I used that dragon power to then fight later on in my lives to become some sort of dragon warrior that I'm still learning about, some elite class beings or something. And then it doesn't just explain a lot, it gives me the traits. So then that sex
Yes.
slavery, it's like I understand why I feel this way toward that, why I have this fire and anger, and not even an anger, it's like a heavenly fire that grants me this power to work against the dark forces because I was in the darkness and I understand exactly what the darkness is and what it's like to be there.
Right, exactly. And maybe it gives us um, the ability to handle more because we
Definitely.
went through that, you know?
Mhm.
Um, it gives us,
For sure.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's all for our growth in the end. I
Yeah.
mean, I hate saying that, but in the end, it's all for us to grow and to experience again, all for
You know
the
what?
experience.
It's weird because now anytime they give me dark memories like that, it's hard, like really hard, but as a Lyran, and one thing that I started gaining that's this trait from these memories as well, it's like, hand me some more. Like anything you give me, I take it and use it as power. So then I get another dark memory of when I fought on this planet and I lost, or this happened to my family and then I fought to protect them, or whatever it is. It's like exciting me because I get more darkness to further my light, and then it gives me power. So that anything that happens on this planet, I'm like, I've been through worse. Like I've seen worse, I've been in worse. So like this is nothing.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely helps in putting things into perspective, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm, the grander perspective of everything. That's why I can't wait for more people to get past like memories because it's very unique to you. So some people it's gonna be like, oh, I realized I was a witch in Orion and I did this. I was part of the dark forces and then I got light. Or I'm a draconian starseed. I was actually was a negative reptilian and became positive and I became a healer or something. Like everybody's journeys are so unique and cool. And when I see them get memories, it excites me because then they're attaining more. That's how you know they're getting even closer to 5D. When you get those past life memories, you are tapping into 5D quick. And then you jump out, you tap in, you jump out. And then it gets to the point where you know almost all of, you can't know all of them, but generally you know who you are. And then from there, it's like you're connected to your higher self, and then you are fifth dimensional. So past life memories was my way of achieving 5D more. And I don't want to say that's the only way, but I feel like that will be a very common way for some people.
Hmm. Hmm. I know you mentioned something about um, uh, that some of the Draconians had a crocodile alligator face to
Yeah.
them,
Hmm.
and those were the ones that were attacking in Lyra when they came into Lyra.
Yeah, the ones that they show sometimes online, they just look like reptilian beings. But from my memory, the ones like it's when I first got it and I was crying and I had to ask my mentor, which was Dawn, I was like, what am I seeing? Why am I seeing this wars? And she told me it was the Lyran Wars. So that was my first memory of it, was crocodile headed beings coming in, and first coming in nice and then attacking us and using our light against us. Like they knew we were 5D and that we were basically pure. So they just attacked us. And I remember I couldn't stop seeing these beings eating people and like raping them. And it was like the most dark thing I've ever seen. It's nothing like I've ever seen in a movie before. I was like, this is the darkest of dark.
Wow.
And she was like, yeah, that's just the Lyran Wars. And then after that, the memories I started seeing more reptilians, or reptilian ones with the wings, which are like the alpha draconians.
Dracos. Hmm.
So some people they learn about this galactic stuff from like outside sources, but me, I started to realize I'm learning it all through inside forces, or like the inside of me. So then I had to do research. What the hell is that? Why am I seeing dragon uh or like reptilian beings with wings or crocodile heads? And then I'd go online and see some people talk about it. Oh, this happened in Lyra and this and that. So then it's like I was learning in reverse. I was learning from in here, and then I had to look outside to figure out what the hell is inside here.
Yeah, which is, I think, more validating, to be honest. I would rather see it inside and then research outside than see it outside and somehow go, well, did I? Was I? Like there is doubt when it comes from
Mhm.
the outside, but I think when it comes from the inside, it's different. It's real and it's your truth,
Definitely.
you know?
Definitely very validating, like you say.
Yeah.
The only downside was that you may think you're crazy, especially at first. Like
Yeah,
the first
that's
one, I was
true.
like, what the hell is that? That's nothing. Is that a movie I watched when I was younger? Like, what is that?
Yeah.
Or like you feel it and then you have to feel it out. You're like, okay, I remember this lifetime in Draco, like when I had one in Draco. Um, and then I remember a dragon being, and I was a dragon, but it felt like this. And then I'm like, why is that? And then my mentor be like, oh, your incarnation is a dragon, and this and that. And then I go online, and then it'll be like, some Lyran, especially the royals, wanted to get to the core and ran to Draco to fight them and all that. So then it leads you to do a lot of soul searching, like why? And you're going like this on the computer. So I guess you could say it is more fun, but you do have to have a strong mind to get things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And have the right environment around you to support you because they might put you in the loony bin if you said, oh, okay, I'm seeing crocodile head, you know, human body
Definitely.
type, yeah, yeah,
I'm so
yeah,
glad I have family in my house who's supporting, and they're way more understanding now. So I could just say I'm going on a mission and they know, and then I'll talk about my mission later to them and they think it's cool.
yeah.
Or
You're so blessed, so blessed.
I definitely I couldn't do this without a good family, because then if I get past life memories, especially the harder ones, I would go to the gym and really work it off, and then I would go home and not want to really talk to people. And my mom is the only one that was really open at the beginning, and I could talk to her about what I was seeing. And I was like, I was eaten by a reptilian and he raped me before, and I can't get over this. And I'd be like on the verge of crying and stuff, and she would be like there for me. She's like, it's okay. She didn't really know what to do, but she's good at Reiki, and she's a Draconian starseed. So she's really good at healing. So she'd be like, come, let me do Reiki. And she could help me move the energy around and stuff. So definitely having a good environment was essential for me.
Wow, that's beautiful. There is this author, Lisa Royal Holt. Have you ever heard of her?
No, actually.
Because she got um, famous and enough people now support her privately that she doesn't have to be for, for other people to know about her. And I only know about her because of this galactic lineage cards that I came in contact with a friend of mine, and she wrote something called the Prism of Lyra, and I believe she talks about that in there.
I think I saw that on Amazon and I put it in my cart. I was like, maybe I need to read that.
All
Let
I
me
know
see.
is I it came to when I'm like, oh, I need to tell him about this. I need to tell him about this
That is the
because
one I put in my cart. Oh my God. Crazy, by Lisa Royal Holt.
Royal Holt. Yep.
Okay, I'm
And you
buying
know
it right
what?
now.
Her cards are amazing. Her galactic lineage cards, um, they will blow your mind. They are like no other cards I've ever had. It's not an oracle card, it's not tarot cards, it is her own cards, and they are amazing. We
Wow. Okay,
also have them in Amazon too.
I'm definitely gonna check that. That's my confirmation to buy it. I'm buying it right now, literally as we
Yeah,
speak.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I went back to read because in the cards, it has a little booklet. And in the booklet, she doesn't only just tell you about the cards, but in the beginning, she gives you the whole story, like at least 10 pages of like the story of the founders, or some people call them creators. She calls them founders. And then And then she talks about Vega and Lyra and Andromedans, Arcturians, da, 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 and then she explains it like before all the so even a tiny little
Mm.
history lesson is in there in that tiny little book. Um, so yeah, so I don't know. It came to me that I needed to tell you about that. So
I'm gonna check that out, and I'm actually working on writing a storybook of like my lifetime in Lyra and trying to cut it into. I'm still trying to figure out how I want to do it. Maybe I want to do it almost like a Game of Thrones type style. I'm not quite sure, but I want to make a storybook of what it looked like actually in Lyra and how the story looked. And people like that are very important. Like they give that lesson, and I actually want to buy that now. So then it's like after people read books like that, then they can read a book of what it may have actually looked like. That's a project I'm working on. I haven't told anybody yet.
yeah, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. Well, if you ever want to do hypnosis to get deeper or anything like that, I can, do that for you too. If you ever needed more detail, I guess.
I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
Yeah. So that's it for today. Once again, 2:22. We are done. And it was really, really fun again talking to you. I love talking to you. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I can't wait to talk again. It's always fun. And I'll see all of you guys real soon again, too.
And definitely tell everybody how to get a hold of you before we go.
Right. You guys follow me on Instagram. I'm King Cash. TikTok and YouTube is King Cassius. And all our community is there. We're building up. We're really all getting together. So I would love for you to join us.
Awesome. Thank you, Commander Cassius. And thanks everybody for watching. We love you.